What is going on, guys? It's Adam. Welcome to the 90-day transformation onboarding training. Depending on when you're watching this could be the 90-day transformation. It could be the growth accelerator. Could be something completely different. The reality is that I'm constantly updating and improving this training series to get to our number one goal, which is how do we create more growth in the next 90 days than you have in the past year, maybe the last 3 years, maybe even the last decade. I'm constantly implementing new science, new tools that are working for myself, my 1,500 plus clients that I've worked with, and the organizations and companies that I network for. And so the reality is that this training is not about telling you what to do. It's about giving you an overview of how to think. I'm a big fan of this idea that theory informs practice and practice informs theory. And the better I can teach you how to think, the more you can go take this up and apply it to your individualistic circumstances. Yes, every week we're going to be giving more tools. I'm going to be showing you more and more of what works, but I want to provide an overview that's going to do 3 things for you, okay? I'm going to help you understand where people get stuck. I'm going to give you some solutions, and then I'm going to give you my framework that is working for myself and my clients right now to help you take that big vision that you have and turn it into a reality so you can start making massive growth and momentum towards your goals. All right? So let's dive into this. Let me share my screen with you real quick. So here's the crux. Here's the goal of everything that we're doing. I call this my genius model. And at the center here, we have our goal. And our goal is 90-day transformation. I apologize for my handwriting. I was supposed to be a doctor. I kept the handwriting. I left the degree. So here we are. So bear with me, but this is our goal, 90 days of transformation to help you get more done in the next 90 days than you have in the past. Here's the number one thing, or one of the top 3 things that I see people getting stuck in and not achieving 90-day growth. And one of the biggest things I see is a lack of clarity. Maybe you're existing in this paradigm right now. You know that you're made for more. You know that there's more you could be accomplishing, but you don't know exactly what that is, or you don't know exactly how to get there. You're stuck in knowing what to want or how to get what you want, okay? And that comes from a lot of different places, but over the course of this training, what we're going to be doing is helping refine your thinking so what you want becomes apparently evident, and how to get there is a process of elimination, of getting clear on the constraints that you want to enforce in your life so that the pathway almost illuminates itself, okay? We want to create that compass that illuminates the path forward, but a lack of clarity is overcome by a strategic way of thinking, okay? So that's one place I see people getting stuck. The next place I see people getting stuck is a lack of confidence. We're just going to put confidence. I don't mean in this bravado confidence, this machismo of like, I'm smarter than you, I'm stronger than you, puff my chest out. If you look at the Latin root of the word confidence, it means confidere, which means intense trust. So confidence is not trust that everything's going to work out perfectly. It's trust that no matter what happens, I'm going to be okay. Because when you're trying to do something that you've never done before, when you're trying to grow more in the next 90 days than you ever have in the past, what that means is that we need to start doing things differently that we've never done before to get results that we couldn't have before. And that means stepping into the unknown. And most of the way our brains are wired are to keep us safe in the known because we've survived it before. And so if you want to really build true confidence, it's about getting comfortable in the unknown so you can start doing things that you haven't done before so you can get the results that you're looking for. And so lack of confidence comes not only from the internal patterns of self-sabotage, self-doubt, attachment styles, yada, 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 all these things that get in the way, but also external confidence of not doing what you say you're going to do. So we're going to work on 2 pillars that are going to help you overcome confidence. But if you're struggling with confidence right now, that is to be expected. And I'm going to show you some techniques to overcome that. The third place I see people getting stuck, and the last place is inconsistent. And sorry for the handwriting, but you're inconsistent, right? You follow the motivation monkey. You're constantly oscillating between starting and stopping. You have no sustainable systems or blueprints or consistency that reliably allow you to show up and do what needs to get done week over week, day over day, month over month, year over year, right? We need the systems. We need the patterns, and we need the blueprint to follow to actually lead to consistency. But your inconsistency comes from you not being clear on what you want, you having a lack of confidence and belief that you can do it, and then that leads to this like weeble wobbly system where you're starting and stopping. And so we want to create this like straight line trajectory. Now, it's never a straight line, but over the course of time, it ends up looking like this, where you might be here, but over time we have this straight line that we end up following. Okay, that's what we want when we talk about consistent patterns. Okay, cool. So where do we go from here? These are the three biggest struggles. Now, where do I want to take you to? So instead of a lack of clarity, what we want to do is we want to build crystal clarity. When I talk about crystal clarity, it's knowing exactly where you want to go and how to get there, okay? And what's different about this process is we're going to use two basically pillars to accomplish crystal clarity and this 90 days of growth that we're looking for. And when I think of clarity, clarity is really the strategy. It's not exactly what you're doing, but your goal, your vision, right? The strategy that you choose shapes everything else, right? I'm a big believer that the goal shapes the process. Both are important. You can't just rely on the goal, but you can't just rely on the process. You need to have a strong goal that is going to shape the process. Most people believe that who I was in the past informs who I acted in the present and how I am going to be in the future. But the reality is that's totally backwards. What we know is that who you see yourself becoming changes how you act in the present, which transforms your relationship with the past. And so we need to get really clear on where we're going, who we want to be, what that vision looks like, so that we can inform the systems and the process and the patterns in the present to match up with who we want to be. If you're acting from the present, you'll never get to your future because you're going to keep recreating some of the same. And so what we want to do is we want to get really clear on who our future self is, what that person does, where our goals are, so that we can reverse engineer the best plan, not necessarily what we've done before, but the clearest plan. And what we do, or how we do that, is by doing two different things. We are going to create our future self, and we are going to, I want to say 10x, I want to say set impossible goals. Now you might be saying, Adam, this seems kind of weird. Why impossible goals? That sounds like a lot. The reality is I created these structures because I found that these are the best tools and processes. I'm no way in saying that these are the only ways, but this is the best way that I've found to ignite massive growth in 90 days so you can transform who you are and the results that you're seeing. Okay. And what I mean by each of these things is that you need to know who your future self is. Because if you know who your future self is you know the way that person shows up, the values that are important to them, what their goals are, the lifestyle that they're living, why they want to feel the way they want to feel. Once we're clear on that future self, we can reverse engineer the goals that that person would have. The reason we say impossible goals is because if we choose impossible goals, what we're doing is we're separating the signal from the noise. From the outskirts, all these lines look pretty similar, right? But once we zoom in, I can't zoom in anymore because I'm already zoomed in. But once we zoom in, we can very clearly see that there's only 1 to 2 things that are actually going to make the difference in our lives. We can separate the signal from the noise, and that's what impossible goals want us to do. I don't want you to just choose impossible goals because they're really big, and that sounds great. By framing the impossible goal, we just get clarity on what the 20% of things that lead to the 80% of results are going to be, so we can effectively pursue them. It's a frame of looking at it. So when you think about getting crystal clarity, it's a strategy, it's a vision, it's a frame, because your frame, the way you see the world, is not only shaped by what you believe, but it's also your interpretation of what you see. And so if we can change that frame, if we can get that crystal clarity, so our vision, our strategy, and our frame gets updated, we can achieve impossible things in a very short time frame. Okay? So that's how we're going to get crystal clarity. Let's talk about confidence. Okay? Let me zoom in. So how do we combat lack of confidence? There's 2 major components. Instead of having a lack of confidence, we want extreme confidence. All right, pretty simple. But the way we get the confidence that we're looking for, and when I say confidence, it's trusting that no matter what happens, you will be okay. Because when you trust that no matter what happens, you will be okay, you will be safe, you will pursue the unknown like a madman with their hair on fire, doing things that you know you need to do to get to where you want to be. We're going to stop playing this game of living in the shadows, of playing it safe, of playing it small, of doing what we've always done. If you really want growth, you need to start doing things that you have never done before, and that's a scary place to be. So we need to build the confidence of being the person who trusts that even if things go totally wrong, you will still be okay. So you keep pursuing it. Okay. Because the only way you're going to get to where you want to go is with the consistency and persistence of hammering away and moving towards that goal. And so the way we build massive amounts of confidence is 2 ways, or 2 things that we're going to focus on. I'm not here saying these are the only ways, but these are the ways I've found to be most effective. First, we need to look at our patterns. And secondly, we need to look at our performance. Our patterns are the internal mental states that get in the way of us showing up. Our patterns could be anxious attachment. Our patterns could be anxiety. They could be self-doubt. They could be avoidance. They could be a myriad of things, right? Playing small. not trusting ourselves, whatever these patterns are. They're internal emotional states that are holding us back. They're self-sabotaging. They're limiting us in some way from getting to the goals that we want. And so what we really need to do is we need to identify, we can't just eliminate these patterns. Most people think that we can just eliminate the things, forget about them, and move on. But they always come back. You are never able to eliminate these things. You can only build relationships with them. And so if you tell me you want to be a billionaire in the next 3 years, right? There's patterns that you have that you've done in the past to get you to where you are that you need to let go of. And the way we let go of them is we don't eliminate them. We build a relationship with them so we can take them with us. And that's the whole part of repatterning. We're literally rewiring our nervous system from who we were in the past to help elevate it and bring it with us to the new version of ourselves that we want to become. And that process will be detailed in another training video as we go throughout these. But I just want you to know that repatterning is huge so you can become the type of person that gets the goals and the achievements and the things that you want to achieve. Okay. The next part of this is going to be performance. Okay. Performance is the day-to-day interaction. It's how you show up. It's the mental resiliency. It is the stamina. It's the anti-fragility. It's the discipline. It's all the performance things that keep you doing day-to-day what you need to do in order to achieve your goals. Because confidence is doing what you say you're going to do. When you continually do what you say you're going to do, you trust yourself to show up even when things are looking bad. And so if I had to create up another name for confidence, what I really mean by confidence, it's what you do. Right? Doing based on what you think and feel and doing based on how you actually show up. Okay. Sorry, my screen's getting a little wonky. So confidence is really what you do. Vision is really what you see and the strategy that you pick. Okay. And the way we get confidence is we change our patterns and we change our performance. If we do those two things, good things are going to happen. The last thing that I want to show you is we're going to work on your inconsistency. So instead of being inconsistent, what we want to do is we want to be consistent. Get it? Clarity, confidence, consistency. We love that. I forget what that's called, an acronym. I forget what that is. So we want to be consistent. Consistent. There we go. How do we build consistency? Consistency comes in two shapes, okay? But when I mean consistency, we have systems and a blueprint and things in our lives that allow us to do what we say we're going to do in a repeatable fashion. So we can have them on autopilot and just naturally show up and do those things. Okay. And so when we're thinking about building consistency, there's two things that we want to focus on. No pun intended. The first thing is our focus. Where is our focus and attention going? The second thing is systems. Okay. Consistency is all about the results that you want to create. If I want to create results, I need to know how I'm thinking about things and what are the things that I'm going to do to actually make those happen. Okay. So consistency is all about results. So where am I putting my focus? Your focus is all about what are you going to tolerate and what are you not going to tolerate. Most people think that the fastest way to change is by doing more, but the reality is by doing less of the things that you shouldn't be. The hardest part about growing is not saying no to things. It's no to things that you don't want to do. It's about saying no to things that you actually do want to do. And so focus is really important in creating the consistency of where you're going to put your limited time, attention, and resources. The next place that we're going to go is systems, right? Systems are the blueprint. It's the layout of how you're going to effectively manage your time. It's the habits that you form. It's the weekly rhythms and cadences of both action and reflection, okay? And so in this process together, we're going to create systems to help you run on autopilot so that your number one goal of 90 days of transformation and the goals that you want to achieve actually become a reality. Okay. So when we zoom out here, we have what looks like a lot of jargon, but you guys know, how do we get 90 days of how do we get more transformation in the next 90 days than we have in the last year? We need to turn lack of clarity into crystal clarity by creating our future self and deciding on impossible goals. We need to take our lack of confidence and turn it into true confidence, which is how we change our patterns and how we change our performance on a day-to-day basis. And then lastly, we turn inconsistency into massive amounts of consistency by changing what we focus on and what our systems are. Okay. And at a very high level, that is how we're going to change your life in the next 90 days. Again, this is an overview. I don't want to overwhelm you guys, but this is the juice. This is the sauce. These are the things that we're going to be reflecting on. So I want you just to take a couple moments just to sit with yourself in reflection and ask yourself, where am I lacking the clarity and vision, right? Do I have a relationship to my future self and the goals that I want to accomplish? Where am I lacking confidence? What are some of the patterns that I'm currently running that are keeping me or bottlenecking me from where I want to be? And how is my performance, the things I do day to day, inhibiting my ability to grow? And then lastly, talk about consistency. Where am I being inconsistent? Where am I putting my focus that is allowing me to be inconsistent? And what are the systems that if I invested into would allow more consistency in my life? We'll talk more in the next training, but I hope this was helpful for you guys, and I'm really excited to dive more into this.